Again, the whole thing is like 8 seconds samples. And some is I can get through, like the song here that I actually fucking love, but most of it, like the songs are like minute 37 seconds, minute 38 seconds, minute 28 seconds, minute 37 seconds, minute 44 seconds. It's like a 4 or 5 second loop that just goes in a circle.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of hooks are like fucking 4 bars, and it's just like one verse.
I'm cool with that. I mean,
one hook, a verse, hook, out.
That's just the nature of songs. I mean, so
under 2 songs.
I don't
or
do
under
that.
2 minutes. I mean,
I couldn't do that. Like I have too many.
I'll tell you what, it's getting the fuck out of streams for me though, because when I obsess over a song, I'm replaying it. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's a great marketing strategy. Plus, like, people's attention spans are fucking quick.
Yeah, you better hope you loop it perfectly into the intro.
I mean, if you go back in time, like how long people would be patient for a song, the amount of time from the beginning of the song to the first time you hear the hook of Tiny Dance by Elton John, that length is the length of songs now. That's just how long it takes to get to the hook. People couldn't wait that long. People are not waiting 3 minutes and 47 seconds for a hook these days.
It was like a whole experience to fucking, get through something. Imagine how long concerts really were back then.
I mean,
people really
when we get into it, like, you get back into disco and soul.
I just imagine that live versions, like, they just, like, would loop shit forever and really just, like, build your favorite parts for, like, it might have been more cinematic back in the day.
I mean, that's how hip-hop was born. I mean, they would take the favorite parts of the song, being the break, and they'd loop it, and that's how hip-hop was born.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Papa was a Rolling Stone. How long do you think it takes before they start singing, even? If you had to guess.
A couple years?
No. I'm saying on the song.
Oh, I thought you meant, like, catching on. Like, I thought you meant, like, spreading the song.
How long do you think how do you think it takes before, like, the song starts, and there's when the vocals come in?
30 seconds. What, like a minute and 30? For real?
About 5 minutes.
Shut the fuck up. What?
5 minutes and 17 seconds is where we're at right now.
Is it true what you say that Papa never wanted?
Yeah. Elton John, Tiny Dancer.
Wow.
Hugely famous song.
Wow.
Hugely famous. The song itself is 6 minutes long, which we couldn't do today.
That is crazy.
I think the hook doesn't come in for 3 minutes, I'm pretty sure. Two minutes and 32 seconds into the song before you get to hear the hook the first time.
You know what I'm noticing? Is like one of the keys, I think, is like that to not overthink. I think a lot of artists are just punching in the booth, like literally improvising their punches like every 4 bars. I think the majority that are like efficient, that have this down to a groove, that are not writing, they think that what's off the top, punch. I have that suspicion, but I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it actually that it's like super innovative if you can crank shit out that fast.
Now you gotta tap back in. Here's the thing: most rappers are doing that. Period. Even the not good ones. All the good ones and the not good ones are. Like whenever I'm in the studio and like I'm either coming in at the end of someone else's session or someone is starting a session when I'm ending one, which almost never happens, or we get double booked and I just happen to be in the studio and I see someone recording. If it's a rapper, that's all they're doing. They're punching in every couple bars. Some not even every 4. Every bar.
Never been like that. It's crazy. It's weird. But it's better. I think it's better. I've just never done it, but I think it's better for sure. Because if you master that, bro, you're cranking shit out like that. The difference, I think, that'll make the differentiation of like who makes it or doesn't will just be like, all right, well, you're talking about something different. Like you're actually intelligent, whatever you're coming up with on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think people got Jay-Z and Lil Wayne got people twisted.
People are just generating the feeling and learning how to do it in the booth.
No, I disagree.
You don't think so?
I think they're doing it, but I don't think most of them are good at it.
You're like, they can't even get the feeling.
Nah, bro.
That's what it sounded like you were saying.
What happens is like they do this shit, and so the funny thing is, I don't know if it was last one I was down there, time before last. I was down there shooting the video for Take My Hand, and I was chilling in the studio because that was like where the meetup point was, but I wasn't in the booth that day. So Best Boy's getting the camera ready, and like we're gonna pack the truck up so we can go do the shit, whatever. And so I'm in there talking to Mariano and shit, and there's a guy recording. and he's doing what all these rappers do. I remember days when I would run it back again. I remember days when I was trapped. Run it back again. And so like he doesn't have anything written. He's coming in the booth, and I'm talking like they don't even do 4 bars. They do line at a time. Days I was trapping, these niggas didn't know me. Let's go from there. Days I was trapping, these niggas didn't know me. You pull up on me and you best be a homie. They punch in line, not even 4 bars at a time. And so I came back later that day.
It's like you might as well be at home if you're gonna do that shit.
That's my whole thing, man. I don't come to the studio.
I know, but it's so frustrating though. Like as an engineer, I would imagine that's when you need to be your own engineer.
To me, that's part of the work. That's part of like the appreciation for them is that like, yeah, I'm paying for the studio time. If I want to pay us to sit here and do nothing, I can. But it's like,
how does he feel about it though?
That's what I was about to tell you.
Yeah.
The point of like, I understand that an engineer will do the task of engineering, the job of engineering, or not do it. Whatever I ask them to do, they'll do it for the session. But it's like, I would much rather respect your time and have us doing something that you're going to want to do. Like if I come to the booth,
or what you're good at, right? But it's like, why would I want to pay all of my time to just have you hit record when I could use your ear to be mastering all that time?
To me, that's the first reason is that like, yeah, for me, cost effective. Like, I have headphones at home. I can just write. So I'm never come to the studio without writing stuff. But also, there's a thing that exists that every engineer, mastering, mixing, recording engineer can do that you can't pay them to do. And that is to give a fuck. And so if you have worn someone out, an engineer, even if you're paying them top dollar, if you have worn them out for 4 hours while they basically watched you freestyle and write a song, when it comes time to mix, they're not going to be inspired. They're not going to be excited and creative and like, hey, let's try this. Sure. And they're not going to want to do any of that shit. They're like, oh, hey, I got this new plugin. I want to try it out on your song. They're not going to do that.
There's really something called fresh ears. You know?
I mean, yeah, having fresh ears to hear, but I mean, in terms of just attitude.
Because I remember I would ask Josh, I'd be like, when's the best time to and he would be like, my ears are freshest in the morning, which makes sense, you know? Like some people have preferences of like, you know?
But I'm saying it's deeper than that. Like you could bring someone a song that they just don't care about with fresh ears, not going to do it. But if you have a song that the engineer actually likes or would like, and like we get through the recording as painlessly as possible, they're going to want to bust out the new plugin they got. They're going to say, hey, wait, what if we double that? Like, hell, I'll be in the booth, and like any engineer that's worth their shit or that I've liked recording with, it's like, hey, I have an idea, just try this. Like having someone be excited about your song makes the song 10 times better. It's like, oh man, I was never gonna do that, but because we're doing this together and you're excited about it, you're making suggestions. But
one of the best feelings, dude, is whenever you're working on a song with an engineer, and they start immediately making it sound better, and you're noticing it, and you're like, oh fuck, like you can start bobbing it. You weren't bobbing, you weren't nodding before, and you're like, yo, he just brought something. I didn't even hear that before. You're just like,
if you wear them out for 4 hours, going line by line,
it's like good luck getting that.
Line, they're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you're paying them. You can't pay someone to genuinely give a shit.
Yo, even more so, do you think people should be booking earlier in the day for that reason?
No, it depends on like.
Because that's hard. That's the hardest slots to fill. No one wants to book at noon. No one wants to book at 10 a.m.
I mean, they do now where I'm at and produce because like they're old. Mariano's old, so he's like, we'll start at noon if we can, depending if he's at Freddie Records. But like, yeah, we'll start at like noon or 2. Like days when I was at Toshi, hell, I pull into the studio at midnight and we get to this shit. But like when I go to Corpus now, it's like, nah, we start somewhere between like noon and 2, and we're done by like 9 or 10.
I'll talk to you off camera about some of that.
Yeah, but back to the thing about like going line by line. Mariano sat this nigga down and was like, hey, bro, you should go home and write. And but he always gives criticism and feedback. It's always honest, and it's always to make you better. And he always tells like, hey, I'm only telling this to make you better. Like, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings at all, but you're coming to the booth and you're spending money, but you don't know the song because you haven't written anything. And like, he's like, this is our 3rd or 4th song together, and you're just kind of saying the exact same shit. Because like, I mean, it's like, okay, cool, sure.
How many times are you going back to your fucking ex?
No, because I'm like
the weekend and shit. I'm just making a joke.
Oh, not even like topics. I mean, like literal lines.
Yeah.
Like almost to the point that it's like
you say, and he's like, you started something off with something like the same way.
No, I'm talking you go to Houston right now, and you listen to anybody freestyle, and you get in a time machine, and you go back every single year for the last 30, and someone in that fucking cipher is gonna say, "Man, hold up, I done came down." Like those two bars are in every single Houston freestyle, and there are rappers who like he's just saying that. He's like, I ain't playing with these niggas. Man, hold up. Yeah, like he was like
Swanging.
He's
Banging.
like, it's like, bro, legit for the last 3 or 4 songs, like you said,
Gripping grain. You're still gripping grain.
I mean, yeah, but again,
On wood grain, you're gripping still.
but not even
Mike
like, oh, I referenced out like it's one thing to make an album that's like, oh yeah, this is clearly a Houston album. You talked about, swanging, polkas out, like you talked about those things versus like you said legit the exact same.
Can you
line.
imagine being there like, Chameleonaire, they've been hating on you for a few albums now. Like,
They've been trying to catch you riding dirty for a minute.
yeah.
Now, either they're gonna catch you or you have to get clean. I don't know what it is, man, but
Yeah.
like someone's got to give here. So he was like,
That formula though, do you remember that intro?
the intro to Riding Dirty.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
That's just like, that has nothing to do with the rest of the song. Do you know what I mean?
it
The
works.
intro is completely separate from anything else to do with that record. Boom, boom. Like that never comes in at all, the rest of the song. It's just there.
That's true. But to your point about writing the lines and shit, he sat him down and was like, yeah, like the reason your shit's all gonna sound the same is because you spent the exact amount of time like thinking about it. Like your lines at this point are like reflex. Because you're not like, okay, cool. Like when you sit down and write a song, it's like, cool, I write this line. What should come next? And you sit for a minute or two or longer, depending on how like easy it is to write a song, write the next line. But for him, he's only thinking about lines for 7 seconds at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Try a line, flub it, hey, take it again, runs it back 7 seconds so he can hear the line before it, come in here. So it's like, yeah, you're never gonna get any better because you're not spending time to think about it. Like you go to the gym, like and you work up to benching 250. That first time you get 250, it's gonna be real slow, but it's easier over time. But it's like you're not working and you're just doing the same thing.
I want to throw this out there, so if anybody sees this idea and they want us to pursue it, I think we would make a good show talking about artists specifically, like speaking about artists, like, because I actually was gonna ask you, there's a few artists that I really have been missing from like hip hop, like that are old in our kind of fucking generation. And I was gonna ask what you thought yours would be, and I think Fab, dude, Fabulous isn't getting enough credit. Like I really miss his voice. I never even told you mine, that I was like, Fab has a super cool voice. Not that I care about Jeezy's voice, but Jeezy sometimes I miss him, like just with a feature here or some shit. Like,
Jeezy?
Yeah, no, Jeezy, not.
Oh, Jeezy.
Yeah, young Jeezy.
Young Jeezy. Ha ha.
Yeah. Older generation is why I asked.
I won't go that far back, but there's a couple artists that like came out with so much promise, and like nothing I've heard from them has like stacked up to it. So like I miss the potential you had. The big one for me.
Motherfuckers like Dizzy Wright and shit. That's what I think about.
I never got too into Dizzy.
When you thought some of this conscious shit was gonna pop off.
Ab fucking soul.
See, he fits in the Lupe box for me.
Nah,
Where it's like you were too risky coming out the gate.
nah, because Lupe, even over time, is like
It's just too different though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not so much the political aspect, just too different coming out.
I'll say that for me, Lupe was like
It's like your first album.
Jesus Christ.